Hello, the viewers of Manatv. I'm your host, Dev Karlekar. Today, we have come in with a very interesting topic, and thank you all for watching us. Next to me, I have Bindu Sanjevkumar ji. Bindu, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Very good. The topic which we have is all about what's happening with the new regulations in the year 2021 H1B cap immigration. That's the show is about. So thank you so much for giving your time today and coming to our show. And we already have been a few questions coming in from our viewers, as well as people will be dialing in. My first question to you, Binduji, is to the viewers of Manatv. Why don't you say a few things about, your name, your background, and what are the areas of specialization which you bring in?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm Bindu Sanjevkumar. I'm a founder and principal attorney of law offices of Bindu Sanjevkumar. Our principal office is in New York, 138 West 25th Street, and New York. Also, we address our clients in New Jersey also. We have a back office in 15 Corporate Place, where we can meet our clients if somebody want to meet us in New Jersey. So, and basically I practice in employment-based immigration. We also do family-based immigration and green card process, naturalization, and most of the immigration cases we cover. So if you want to call us, then you can reach us, our law firm, and a number and address I will share with our
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, the flyer has sent out which has your information, and I guess for this show and for the people who are watching our show and calling in, I would expect you will throw some kind of brownie points at them, and there'll be some perks which is given to them. Maybe the initial session could be free or a discounted pricing so that people can use your service. So thank you so much for giving the overview. A lot of things have changed for this calendar year,
correct.
Right? So it's like having a new syllabus, and you are paying for the exam. You do not have a backdrop, otherwise what you have, like looking at the last year and copycatting that. So my first question will be, in light of the new changes which are happening, what are the major sticking points, or what are the major new points which were not there last year, which have been happening this year?
Yes. So this year, a lot of changes are there. It is really an employer-friendly environment, because unlike the last years where you have to rush all the petitions by, April 1st of the financial year, this year what you have to do is you have to only provide a basic information in the online electronic registration process, which starts tomorrow. Actually, this is a very good time when you have selected for this program, because tomorrow is the starting date of our H1B registration. And as you are aware, first the selection will be done, then only you have to submit the petitions. So, unlike the other years where you have to file all the petitions and later on the lottery will be conducted, this year first the selection will be done, and then you have to file the petition within the window they are providing. So for this process, first both the employer as well as if you are going through an attorney, both should have a USCIS account. You have to create a USCIS account, which they already opened up on February 24th. Now also, if anybody is interested, you can go to USCIS website, tools, my USCIS, and create an account. And once you create an account, then you are ready to participate in the process, and the registration will open up on March 1st, 12 noon EST. And it will end on March 20th noon. So you have a lot of time. There is no need to rush, and this is very employer friendly. And as far as I know, most of the employers have welcomed this new process because it is cost saving, time saving, and lot of other benefits also.
We have a couple of call starts coming in. People, the number for this show is 631-867-1293. And people have started sending in questions, emails. I'll again repeat the email ID. If you have any questions, you may send it in case the line is busy. It is questions@manatv.net. Questions with an S, QUESTIONS @manatv.net. We have a caller. Can we please, I believe he dropped the line, but again, we will continue getting the calls throughout the show. And as and when the caller calls in, we will ask them to put a question.
Okay.
I have an email from Rajesh Karthik from Boston, Mass. And Rajesh Karthik has a question. And his question is very much follow-up to what you have said. He's saying, what kind of an information will be required for the electronic registration process? In a sense, what information does he needs to provide? Looks like he's a petitioner and he wants to know what he needs to file in.
Yeah, only a few basic details are required for the registration process. Where you need the legal name of the prospective employer, and if you are doing in a particular business name or trade name, that name, and employer identification number, primary US address, and also the name, title, contact details of the authorized signatory who is authorized to submit the statement. Who can review the statement and confirm or provide authorization to submit the
on behalf of the employer.
Yes,
okay,
on
good.
behalf of the
so
employer.
basically,
yes,
one pager, very easy to fill in document.
Yeah, and same thing from the beneficiary also. You need the beneficiary's legal name, beneficiary's gender, date of birth, country, citizen of which country, passport number, and also very important information whether he is eligible for US Master's Cap or Bachelor's Cap. So that information we need at the time of registration itself. So he has to specifically, you have to get that that information from the beneficiary attesting to the fact that whether he is eligible for Master's Cap or Bachelor's Cap. Master's Cap means he should have done US Master's degree in the US. So that institution should have, it should be accredited, and it should be eligible and qualified for coming under the master's quota. So USCIS has provided a website for that, for finding out whether the master's degree from that particular college is eligible for applying in a master's cap.
Because that has a separate quota.
Separate
if
quota.
I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Right? So there is a general category which is meant for, I believe, 65,000 odd cases.
Yes.
And the people who have studied masters and they fall under the US accreditation colleges, for them they have
20,000. Correct.
if I'm not wrong. Okay. So
first process to identify is whether they are eligible for master's quota. So for that, you have to get an confirmation from the beneficiary, as well as the employer has to review. If an attorney is there, attorney will also review whether the school is eligible for master's quota.
I mean, the new rules are changing, so it's very difficult to catch up. So I guess the safe bet will be to find an attorney such as yours who know from A to Z.
Definitely, then
the
there will be a three-layer check,
Correct.
and
Correct.
there may not be.
You have gone through the workshops. You have, you're immigration attorney, so you know the prevailing laws. You do this for living, so rather than doing it, giving it to someone, it's better to
accountability will be there. Yes.
Good. For the viewers of Mana TV, do you have any special, I would say, ask? Because again, majority of our viewers are Indian Americans or NRIs, and they would like to hear from the audience.
I can provide a free consultation from them, and you can give them a code if you want. I can note it.
So for the viewers of Mana TV, it will be a surprise discounted package from Bindu Sanjevkumar ji. All you got to do is Bindu Visa Mana TV. Bindu, BINDU, Visa, VISA, Mana TV, MANA TV. all one word. Bindu Visa Manatv. What's your number which you would like to give it to
2021.
And what's the phone number you want to have the callers to call you so that you have it when they call in, they can give Bindu Visa Manatv 2021 cycle, and they can have an initial consultation with you and then go from there. Do you have a phone number where they can call?
908-962-8889.
Repeat it for one more time.
908-962-8889.
Good, good. And again, viewers, if you have any questions, the number to call the studio line is area code 631-867-1293. I repeat, 631-867-1293. A lot of people are sending emails for some reason, and the emails is questions@manatv.net. In case you are shy of calling in the studio, questions with a SQUESTIONS @manatv.net. We have Suresh Reddy. Suresh Reddy's question is, Suresh Reddy ji is, whenever you're writing a question, please make sure give your name and preferably your contact information, your name, your phone number, where you're calling from, whatever, New Jersey, New York, and also state the question so that it's easy for us. In case you need any follow-up, in case you need any information, a copy of that goes to Binduji, and she could also follow up on that. So when you're sending a question, please make sure it has your name and your phone number so that her office can do a follow-up and make sure, in case she doesn't cover the time, she could cover it up, afterwards. We have Suresh Reddy from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and his question is, his question is, what is the registration fee and how it can be paid?
Okay. So registration per beneficiary is $10, and it can be paid by your bank checking or savings account or debit or credit card. Even American Express and Discovery card is coming in the screen, so it should be fine with.
Okay. Okay, good. Good. So it's easy. It's not a big money.
It's not a big money. Only $10 per beneficiary. If you have, 10 beneficiary into 10.
Correct. It's still a lot cheaper. Okay.
Lot cheaper.
Good. 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 I have Surinder Kumar Singh. Surinder Kumar Singh is from Chicago, Illinois. His question is. His question is, what is viewed as multiple filing or duplicate filing?
Yeah. So, that has been already there. Previously itself USCIS have discouraged multiple filing for the same beneficiary by the petitioner, so that they can avoid that inappropriate distribution. So, here now also they have specifically mentioned that there can be only one petition per beneficiary by one employer. That means one employer cannot file two petition or two registration for the same beneficiary.
Understood.
Yeah. So
just to improve the chances. So it's one petition per employer.
One petition per employer, and even the affiliated company or sister company, they cannot file on behalf of the same beneficiary. They cannot file. If they find out or if they have some questions, they will come back and ask whether they are affiliated, what is the percentage, how is the control, whether there is a corporate control.
Correct.
That they can.
The ownership. So ownership has to be. So if there are two different companies, so then the petitioner can use two different employers and can file two different cases.
Yeah, different employer can file for the same beneficiary, but only one important thing is the client should not be same or project should not be same. If they have a different project or different client, if they have a real, what is the term they mention is, they have a real legal necessity or opportunity, then they can file. They cannot file for the same client two different petitions. So that also come to the picture that both are related.
Good.
Because same client, same work, same vendor, it doesn't work.
So Surendraji, very good question, I must say. So it's one of a very important question. So to answer Surendra Paji, in case you are looking for multiple filing, you can have 2 different employers. Make sure those employers are not the same group companies.
And also the project or clients are different.
And the project and the client for which they are filing, say one client is filing you for Citibank's project, another person is filing you for, say, Comcast. That should be okay.
That should be okay.
Both of them should not be filing for the same client for the same project, correct?
That means there should be a real opportunity available.
Correct. Very good question. I'm glad, very interesting question, tricky question. The other, we have it from a lady, Indu Shah. Indu Shah is from Los Angeles, California. Her question is, how would she, as a candidate, would know her H1B petition selection? I mean, what is the notification process she's asking?
Yes, she cannot know, but the petitioner who have registered for this registration process will get a notification. If he has chosen email, then he will get an email notification. If he has chosen a text message, then he will get a text message, informing there is an activity in his account. And what they have to do is they have to log into their USCIS account and see what is the status, and that will be having in the screen. It will show as selected or submitted, denied, or
good.
not selected in the process.
So her employer would get a notification.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Either text or email, whatever he has chosen.
Okay. I think we have a caller. Let's take a live caller also. Whosoever it is, please make sure mention your name, complete name, your phone number. If you're a caller, also give your email, and then you can state your question, please. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Venugopal, and this is regarding my H1 extension. My extension was about to, actually it was expired by December last year, December 22. My first H1 got denied, and my employer filed another H1 before my I-94 got expired, and so I'm staying on that second H1. So my question is, my first H1 got denied because of the client letterhead that I provided to USCIS. They think it is not accurate, and they also mentioned saying some modification has done. So I'm in the process of applying appeal motion to reopen. So what are my chances?
No, what is the question by USCIS?
The line, we terminate the call. So from what I understood, his thing was his first petition got cancelled, so they filed a second petition, and he wanted to ask what are his chances. I guess.
No, second petition he has filed. I think he has said second petition he has filed while his I-94 is still current. So that should be good. The first I-94 is current means he is very much in status, and that should not be a problem. But why that USCIS observation, I didn't get it correctly unless I review what was the point mentioned in the USCIS. He said some correction or something he was telling. So unless I see the decision notice, I will not be able to give a correct answer, because each question or each case vary by the facts. So unless I see the facts, I cannot tell. But the chances of appeal or motion to review, it is 0.6%. If my statistics, it's not anybody else's statistic. It's I never ask anybody to go for motion to review or appeal unless there are material points or sometimes you might have omitted some material information or document was not available to you in the initial stage. Other than that, I will not advise anybody to file an appeal or motion to review, because there is no time frame for that. That's the main reason. So rather than that, I will ask them to file a new petition.
That's a very good point. So whenever you file for motion review, there is no timeline given.
No timeline.
Right? So if you have a substantial
And
supporting
also another
documentation-
factor is he cannot work.
Understood.
So what is the point in filing? If there is some benefit, then I would have advised. Only benefit is he can stay in the country, but without work staying in the country, I don't advise.
Well, Venu, if you have any clarification, Binduji has given the number. Please feel free to contact her office, and she'll be more than happy with the supporting data which you will give. She can have a look at it, and she can give her expert advice. These are legal topics, and it needs to be ensured dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and it has to be picture perfect with accuracy. So thank you so much for calling us. Let me see, we have one more lady, Sumati Krishnan. Sumati ji is from Houston, Texas, and her question is, okay. So her question is about as follows: what is the timeline for submitting the H1B packet once her petition is selected, I guess? So what is the timeline she's looking for submitting her H1B packet?
Yeah, the timeline is, USCIS will give a notification for the timeline within which you should submit the packet. What we are given to understand is it is 90 days from the date of, whenever they communicate, and they will give the address where to submit the application and the time frame within which it should be submitted. Generally, it is given as 90 days.
So within 90 days,
90
generally
days it is
speaking,
picked, yeah.
she has to then send the H1B petition packet.
Yes.
Okay, good. That's enough time, I guess, to collect all the data points.
Correct. Yeah, that is a big advantage from the point of view of employer. Usually what happens, employer will hurriedly file some cases in March, and by the time October comes, sometimes project may be over, and then, by the time RFE comes, you don't have a project to substantiate, all difficulties. Here you have enough time to work on the paper and give a neat paperwork so that the chances of RFE can be avoided also.
And I think it gives enough time.
Enough time.
You're not rushing into it. Even the immigration officer, he does not get all hundreds of thousands piling up, and something drops from somewhere. So it goes in a gradual way.
Yes.
Petitions are coming in, and even it's optimally for everyone. It's good for the immigration officers, as well as good for the individual and the employer also.
Very much
Employer,
beneficial.
They're not rushing.
Yeah, they have a opportunity to provide error-free documentation, so that they can avoid RFE also if they provide as per what is required.
Correct. I have Gopal Day. Gopal Day is from Raleigh, North Carolina. And Mr. Gopal Day's question is, he wants to know, okay, I need your help to understand this question. He's saying, what is the specialty occupation analysis?
Okay.
So, I am not an immigration attorney, but it's just a one-liner. What is specialty occupation analysis? So,
okay. So specialty occupation analysis, you have to do before filing the H1B petition. What is the specialty occupation analysis means? There are 4 criteria. That bachelor's degree or higher or its equivalent is normally the minimum entry into the position. The degree requirement for the job is common to the industry, or the job is so complex or unique. And the other one is employer normally requires a degree or its equivalent for this position. And the 4th one is the nature of specific duties so specialized and complex that the knowledge required to perform the duty is usually associated with the attainment of bachelor's degree. That is from the point of view of specialty occupation work. And the other point is the beneficiary should qualify for this kind of work. If he should have a bachelor's degree or US master's degree, if license or license requirement is imposed, he should have that particular license. Or if he don't have an education, for example, a computer software developer, and the software developer usually, the criteria is he should have a computer science or information technology degree. If he is having a degree in mechanical engineering, how he can claim that he is fit for this specialty occupation, because his line of study is something different. So, for that kind of mechanical engineering or any other particular category, then you can prove that because of his experience or training, he has attained a equivalent degree. So that kind of evaluation you can obtain.
So the education evaluation should be a supporting document.
Supporting documentation.
And along with the degrees, if they have done any diplomas, if they have done any certification, any workshops, so that documentation can be attested and given.
So progressively, he has attained that degree, that we can prove it. For example, for veterinary, for other cases it is very obvious. For a veterinary doctor, he should have a bachelor's degree in veterinary science. He should have a license to practice. For a dental doctor also similar. So, some category there is no specific guidelines. There the problem comes. So, you have to make an extra analysis to find out what is the regular standard, how they qualify for that particular specialty occupation. So, that is the
interesting question, Gopal De. I must say that. So what are the odds? This is a question from me. I'm just following question to Gopal De. So what are the odds? You have a computer science or MIS person. I guess it's obvious for them because that's in line with what the work which they'll be doing. Vis-a-vis to someone whose initial education is in civil engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical
that is what USCIS come back will ask how your degree is related to your offered position. It is not matching. So at that time you have to have an evaluation and see whether he qualifies for this offered job by virtue of his experience, training, certification. This kind of evaluation you have to obtain.
And if they have the advanced diploma or postgraduate diploma, in
all trainings, experience, everything you have to review. There is a formula for this evaluation agency in arriving at the
what are
equivalence,
the
education
most
equivalence.
commonly used evaluation agencies, just for the knowledge of?
Usually I use Morningside evaluation, Trust Fort, Silvergate. I use
these are
commonly,
three most commonly used
I use.
agencies. Okay, good. I think we have one more caller who's dialing in. Let's wait for a second. I think there's a caller on the line. Hello, welcome. Please state your question.
This is Raghavendra, and I would like to know about more on CAP visa because I have been there on H1B for 1 year in 2015 and 16, and I'm staying away from the USA right now, and I'm planning to come back to USA again as a CAP exemption. And is there any possibility that people can help me to file my case on H1B CAP exemption to travel back to USA?
Okay, so you said you were already on H1B.
He was on H1B in 2015-16. My understanding he's in India now. So his question is, does it fall under H1B CAP exempt category, and can he come to India?
Yeah, that
come to US.
Yeah, that depends. We have to see whether he was already stamped, whether he has already worked here as per the visa issued to him. So depending on that, we can take a call on that one.
Raghavendra, my suggestion to you would be to please feel free to reach the attorney's office and give the supporting documentation and elaborate your cases, what they've been, and then let the attorney go through your petition and your situation, and then go from there, and then she'll be able to give you the best guidance. Okay. Do we have any other caller right now? Do we have any other caller right now? No. Okay. Okay, good. So Raghavendra can call the office of Binduji. Can you please mention the phone number again?
Yeah, 908-962-8889.
Good. So this is her number. Please feel free to reach out to her. I have one more email, Krishna Patel. Krishna Patel is from Orlando, Florida. And Krishna's email is, his question is, can you please explain about the cap gap protection?
Yeah, that is for students whose OPT visa or STEM OPT visa are about to expire during this cap period, because the cap opened up only in October 1st, 2020. So suppose somebody is having a visa or OPT expiration by April, so whether he will get a status extension. So in such cases, just by registration he will not get status extension or cap gap protection. Once he submit the H1B petition, then he will get a automatic cap gap extension till September 30th. So if it is approved, he is fine.
So it is not the initial registration. It is
not the
basically submitting your file and
Yes.
the file get accepted. Then
No,
only
you have to file it, you have to ship it, that is fine.
So by shipping it, you can stay here legally until 30th of September.
No, the cap gap protection he will
Protection
get.
he will
yeah.
get. Okay.
Otherwise, what will do if he is not selected? Suppose in the registration he is not selected, then he will not get any cap gap protection.
Correct.
He may have to look for another visa once his visa is expiring, or his F1 visa is expiring.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
So if his the OPT is expiring, say in the month of May,
He will get cap gap protection.
then between May until September, he has a cap gap protection.
Yes.
If they are working on a project, can they continue?
Yeah, they can continue.
They can continue.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the I-120, they will have that notation that cap gap is extended, and they can work.
And in this case, Krishna, so they will get the decision by 30th of September.
No, that is the case. If the decision has not come by 30th of September, then he may have to look at another alternative by October 1st.
Understood. Okay.
So this protection is available. If it is approved, well and good, and October 1st he can enjoy, his status changes to H1B. Otherwise, maybe he has to look for some other visa status.
What do you think, in your experience, does it get prolonged or typically you
This
get?
time I think already we are in 90-day filing time they are providing. So 90-day filing time they are providing, then how fast approval will come, I'm not sure.
I mean, this could be anyone's guess, right?
Yeah.
This time things
Yeah,
are
how
new.
much fast approval comes, I don't know whether it will be enough time before October 1st also. So most probably, because I think if RFE is not there, then maybe they can get an approval.
Okay. Good. Krishna ji, that's a very interesting question. And again, if you have any follow-up questions, if you need any other guidance, you know the number to call in, and we'll be happy to further assist you to those questions. Very interesting question. We have one more viewer. She have sent us a question. Rohini Tungamala. Rohini Tungamala, she is from Charlotte, North Carolina. And Rohini's question is, that's a very interesting question, at least, because I've seen many times this question coming in. She's saying in-house projects and third-party project locations. What's the difference? And she needed more clarity on that.
Okay. So in-house location or in-house project, it is little bit more easy, or I should say, because the project documentation you have to submit, you should have a availability of that specialty occupation, project documentation, workspace, funding documentation, client details of the in-house project, or product, it's a product reviews and all you have to provide, and that is there is no third party assignment. So the question of right to control and all little bit easy to answer, because everything is within the control of the petitioner. Only thing is he has to provide the documentation and all other client details, client contracts with reference to his project. Whereas third party client means a little bit more difficult, because you have to depend on an end client in getting the letter, you know, and nowadays USCIS specifies that the client should also have or write down in a certain way what is required as per the legal requirement. And you know, third party client may or may not comply, some may be friendly, some may not be, you know. Most of the big clients, most of the big clients are somewhat helping our clients and all. It doesn't matter whether the corporation is big or small. You have to follow the procedure whatever is written in the USCIS regulations, you know. Any business can function, it cannot be very rigid, it cannot be very flexible, everything has to function within the setup of organization rules and regulations and the policies laid down by USCIS. So getting a client letter on the specified format and all may be little bit challenging. That's why I thought, you know, in-house project may be beneficial, provided you can substantiate that you have sufficient number of or sufficient occupation availability and this particular beneficiary is required.
Good. That's a very good.
And in third party contract, you have to another challenge is you have to provide all the layers of contract, you know. If there are 2-3 layers, you have to provide all the way up to the client. So that is sometimes little bit challenging, but some of the vendors or middle vendors are very, very cooperative. You know, if they cannot you know, give the contract on the basis of their privacy policies or security policies or whatever it is, they are attesting to that fact and giving us the information so that we can apprise USCIS also that because of the due to the privacy commitment or their contract commitments, they cannot provide their original contracts or work orders.
So from the actual client to the preferred vendor and maybe 1 or 2 layer in between, you basically need a slew of documentation.
Yes.
And
if it is not available, an explanation why it is not available.
Correct.
So the petitioner is put on a big burden to follow up all the layers and get it.
Interesting. Okay. That's a very good interesting. So your best bet will be to go with as minimal layers as you can.
Yeah.
If not, make sure the documentation is given to all of them. Let me see if I have another caller, I believe. We have a caller. Please state your name and ask a question.
I'm Kapila, and I know I am a OPT person, and I want an employer if he can apply for at 2 different places for my H1. What are the chances of lottery as well of picking it up?
Chances of lottery, we are yet to have any guesswork on this one, because this year the system is entirely different. And you know, what they said is the lottery will be closed only towards the end of the physical year. So you know, anytime they can pick up, maybe in December also they can pick up a case. So we cannot do a guesswork on what will be the chances and all. But filing 2 petition, as I already explained, an employer cannot file for the same beneficiary 2 petitions. Only 1 petition an employer can file. If a different employer is filing for you, then also it cannot be the same project or the same client. What USCIS is looking is a legitimate business requirement for your services. You cannot just like file for the purpose of improving your chances of getting selected in the lottery.
Good. So 2 different employers can file the same beneficiary, provided they have 2 different projects.
2 different, they have a requirement
They
or
have a
opening
requirement.
available.
Yes, yes. So I believe the caller Kapila If you have any other questions, again, please call the offices of Bindu Sanjevkumar, get the clarity, and we wish you good luck for that question. I have one more question from Richa Chadha. She's from Denver, Colorado, and her question is, okay, it's a long one. What is the effect of public charge rule on H1B process? What is
Okay.
the effect of public charge rule
Yeah.
on H1B process?
Yeah, public charge has come to effect on February 24. There was an injunction before, but now injunction has been lifted, and it is came into effective from 24th February. So for any immigrant visas to be extended, or for any change of status, they look whether the beneficiary has availed any public benefits over a period of 12 months in the last 38 months, I think. So it is 36 months. 12 months within the aggregate of 36 months, if he has availed any public benefits, and they have listed also some public benefit, the employer has to attest that he has availed or not availed. Part 6 of I-129 list what are all the public benefits which come within the purview of public charges. There are some exceptions also, but any Medicaid, federally funded Medicaid, or I think some of them I have noted, it's federally funded Medicaid, housing assistance, public housing assistance. This is a new topic which imposes a restriction. If you are applying for a consular processing, it is not applicable.
Correct.
But if you are requesting for a change of status, or if you are requesting for extension of status, then that benefit will not be given if you have availed public benefits. So that part, employers have to ask the beneficiary to fill in and attest the same thing before submitting to USCIS.
So Richa ji, if you have taken any public benefit in the last 12 months, 12
You have
months
to,
in,
yeah.
of the prior 36 months, then there is a big question mark.
Yes,
then.
yes.
Okay. But in case of many of these people who are filing for the H1B, either they are an OPT or things like that. So in that case, say coming in for the MS, and then change of status from OPT, EAD to H1B, they will not fall into that category, will
Everybody,
they be? Everybody.
any immigrant, any non-immigrant visa or immigrant visa will fall in this category.
They will.
Anybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So Richa ji, again, hope that answers your question. If you have any follow-up guidance, questions, assistance, please feel free to call Bindu Sanjevkumar ji's office, and she'll be more than happy to further address you with her expertise. We have Dilip Kanetkarji. Dilip ji is from Detroit, Michigan, and Dilip's question is, he's saying, have the documentation changed, or what kind of documentation documents are required for the H1 filing? Is there any change from last year to this year?
There
is
is
the same set of documents?
it is same set of documentation, and couple of the initial requirement for filing an H1B is, first you have to provide documentation stating that there is a status maintenance. If you are in F1, then you have to provide all the I-20s and other documentation. If you are in H1, all those documentation, which point out that you have lawfully been in H1 in this country. So maintenance of status. If it is H1 extension or something, then the most important thing is you have to give the pay stubs. Pay stubs is one of the criteria by which maintenance of status is proved. So maintenance of status, you have to prove this is a specialty occupation. You have to prove the beneficiary is qualified to do the specialty occupation work. And then the employer-employee relationship. If it is a third-party location, then the contract chains, client letters, then itinerary if it is a third-party location. These are some of the basic things you need to know, and the correct filing fee, correct filing address.
Good, good. The next question, we have an email. Keshav Sanghvi. Keshav Sanghvi ji is from Kansas City, Kansas. Wow, okay. And the question Keshav ji has is, okay, well, it's kind of similar on those lines, but a little different. He's saying what documentation is required. Looks like he's on F1B, so student visa. So what documentation is required for the H1B student visa for filing for their H1B?
Okay. So if for student visa, he need to provide all the I-20s, EADs, and that is practically required. But if it is CPT, then he may have to have a lot of other documentation also, because usually CPT double masters is discouraged by our USCIS. So for that purpose, he may have to prove that his second masters is integral part of that curriculum study.
What's in your personal opinion or experience? So people who do from one master's to another master's, should they be doing in the same stream, or how do you define the requirement and the need for the second master's?
That is what their DSOs have to certify, employers have to certify, and it's a lot more work. That nowadays sometimes we request the DSO because they are permitting curricular practical training, and our DHS is issuing the I-20s, CVs and everything. So we are requesting them how to prove that this curricular practical training is essential part of the master's degree program. So that kind of documentation they have to work on, and if they can prove that it is an essential part of the degree program, CPT is an essential part of the degree program, maybe we can prove it.
DSO is typically the professors at the university, like a liaison for the foreign students, and
without
does the
their
documentation.
without their active participation or help, we cannot prove it.
Okay. So basically,
So because it is the college or university and DHS which issues the I-20 for work, and also the CVs also. So
Keshav Sanghvi ji,
but I always advise everybody, CPT this is the problem with CPT, so you have to take a call on that one.
So Keshav Sanghvi ji, you said F1 student, you did not mention whether it's an OPT or CPT. So based on that, her feedback or her response will be given. I believe it's an OPT, it's much easier.
Yeah,
the documentation is less required. The CPT raises the eyebrows, and it's a little more cumbersome process.
Yeah,
You
there is a
justify
little
the
bit
need.
confusion on that CPT part.
Understood. So you need to work very closely with the DSO of your university and get the required documentation, and then work diligently with the attorney to make sure you dot the I's and cross the T's, and the proper documentation slew has been given towards filing for your visa. So if you want to call, please call Bindu Sanjevkumar's office. Give her the clarity of what exactly, whether you're an OPT or whether you're a CPT, and what documentation you required for filing, and she can further guide you through. We have one more email. Suresh Rao. Suresh Rao is from Richmond, Virginia, and Suresh Rao's question is, it's a very interesting question. Suresh Rao is asking, what are the most commonly raised RFPs? Like questions, follow-up questions.
Yeah, mostly specialty occupation. Nowadays, I see a lot of maintenance of status issues also. So those two parts they have to bridge. And the other one is right to control. So if it's a third-party location, mostly right to control comes.
I think we have one caller who just dialed in. So,
Hi, this is Venu. I just called before 10 minutes regarding my second H1 denial. Sorry. My question was my employer applied the second extension with the same documentation, whatever we provided to with the first H1 extension. Is it okay to file like that? Or I know I got the receipt. I'm staying on that H1, even though it is filed before my I-94 got expired. And one more question, like I said, I opened a motion to reopen. The reason the USCIS mentioned is I work for a government agency, and the letterhead that they provided is legitimate. So they only denied because of the letterhead, anything else. So that's why my attorney told there is a chance I can get approved if we open motion to reopen. So because the client letterhead is not accurate, I took another letter from the same client saying the letter, whatever they provided, is legitimate and it is accurate, something like that, and they open. So what are my chances?
Okay, so in this case, I think this is a question of fact. It is not a question of law. It's a question of fact. So maybe there is a possibility also, because if it's a question of law, it will be a little bit more difficult, because it's a question of fact, and you are telling this is their legitimate letterhead. So maybe they have to agree it. If it is a legitimate letterhead,
True.
You cannot tell it is illegitimate. If it is legitimate, how can a third party say it is illegitimate? So what is the proof you have given to prove that it is legitimate?
He said the call dropped, so he said he got the same similar documentation. Maybe last time the letterhead may be blurry or whatever the case may be. So he reached out to the proper.
You cannot. Sometimes I get really surprised. They say this is not the authorized signatory for this letter, because as far as we are concerned, from a end client or a third party client, we cannot inquire into who is the authorized signatory. True. And all. That is very difficult as far as a petitioner or a employer is concerned. So we have to presume it is given by authorized signatory only. We cannot check that. There is no machinery or mechanism to check who is the authorized signatory or what is the letterhead or something like that, whether it is authentic or not. As far as an employer or petitioner is concerned, they may not be able to make a verification or having an upper hand and tell them, we have to follow whatever we got.
Well, thank you, Venu, for asking. Our best wishes for your petition. Again, if you need to call for the consultation, you may call Bindu Sanjevkumar's office, and she'll be more than happy to go through the documentation and give her expert opinion on that. My questions to the email, let me check if I have any more questions. No, this is all I have. These are all the questions I had. Binduji, do you want to cover from your side anything you want to cover it more?
Yeah, for what I suggest is you have got enough time to prepare a petition packet. So just follow the procedure, just check the initial requirement and prepare a perfect packet. The business, whatever business we are doing, it has to be done within the framework provided by the rules and regulation, and if we follow that, then there should not be any problem. And maintenance of status is a very important point, and that is one of the first requirement for any H1B petition. So everybody check your status and ensure that you don't fall out of status, and that is what I would like to say. And whether company is big or small, if your packet or if your documentation is perfect, there is no problem with getting an H1B approval.
So it's a new season, right? The rules have changed from last year to this year.
Yeah.
This is my personal opinion. Do not take a chance. It's your career in this country.
Correct.
So please seek help of an attorney office, someone like Bindu Sanjevkumar ji, and they have been doing this for many years. They will ensure that they will dot those I's and then they'll cross those T's, in a sense, making it's a picture perfect in terms of the documentation and what additional documentation needs to be required, and make sure it's in the right size and the right information, and file it in a timely fashion. So you are optimizing your chances to ensure that your case has all the bells and whistles, you know,
Yes.
all the required documentation which are required, which goes in the hands of immigration officer. With the law, from what I understand, my personal opinion, it's good. It's good for the applicant. It's good for the employer. It's also good for the immigration officer, because
Yeah, it's-
nobody's rushing into anything, and that should help us towards having less issues.
It's
and-
really an employer-friendly scenario right now, and beneficiary has to provide whatever is required. Employer has to coordinate, and attorney also will review and coordinate in finalizing a perfect packet.
Good. Well, we are coming at the tail end of the session, so thank you all the callers, thank you all the people who have sent us these good emails with the information. Please don't be shy. Our number is 631-867-1293. You could please feel free to give me a call, and always can ask the question. Thank you, Bindu ji,
Thank
for
you so
coming
much.
to our studio. My best wishes for this season, and I'm sure your phone will be off the hook of people calling in and asking for the advice. Thank you, Manatv viewers, for giving your time watching us, and enjoy rest of the afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.